The cardiovascular system, often referred to as the circulatory system, is a complex network of organs and vessels responsible for the transportation of blood, oxygen, nutrients, and waste products throughout the body. It plays a vital role in maintaining homeostasis, ensuring that all body tissues receive the necessary oxygen and nutrients while removing metabolic waste. To understand the anatomy and physiology of the cardiovascular system, let's break it down into its key components. 1. Heart. Anatomy. The heart is a muscular, fist-sized organ located in the chest cavity, slightly to the left. It is divided into 4 chambers, 2 atria, right atrium and left atrium, and 2 ventricles, right ventricle and left ventricle. Physiology. The heart functions as a pump that contracts rhythmically to push blood through the circulatory system. The atria receive blood from the veins, while the ventricles pump blood out to the arteries. The right side of the heart pumps deoxygenated blood to the lungs for oxygenation, and the left side pumps oxygen-rich blood to the rest of the body. 2. Valve. The heart contains 4 valves that play a crucial role in regulating blood flow through its chambers. These valves ensure that blood flows in one direction, preventing backflow and maintaining the heart's efficient pumping action. The 4 heart valves are atrioventricular (AV) valves, mitral valve, bicuspid valve. Location: between the left atrium and the left ventricle. Structure: the mitral valve consists of 2 cusps or leaflets. Tricuspid valve. Location: between the right atrium and the right ventricle. Structure: the tricuspid valve has 3 cusps. Semilunar valves. Aortic valve. Location: between the left ventricle and the aorta, the largest artery in the body. Structure: the aortic valve has 3 semilunar cusps. Pulmonary valve. Location: between the right ventricle and the pulmonary artery. Structure: the pulmonary valve also has 3 semilunar cusps. The opening and closing of these valves are coordinated with the heart's rhythmic contractions. The cycle of valve operation can be summarized as follows. 1. During atrial systole, when the atria contract, the AV valves open, allowing blood to flow from the atria into the ventricles. 2. During ventricular systole, when the ventricles contract, the AV valves close to prevent backflow into the atria. 3. Simultaneously, the semilunar valves open, allowing blood to be ejected from the ventricles into the aorta and pulmonary artery. During ventricular diastole, when the ventricles relax, the semilunar valves close to prevent blood from flowing back into the ventricles. This rhythmic opening and closing of the heart valves create the characteristic lub-dub sound of the heartbeat, with the first sound, lub, associated with the closure of the AV valves at the beginning of ventricular systole, and the second sound, dub, associated with the closure of the semilunar valves at the end of ventricular systole. The proper functioning of these heart valves is essential for maintaining normal blood flow and preventing conditions such as valvular heart disease, which can occur if the valves become damaged or do not function correctly. 3. Layers. The heart consists of 3 main layers, each with its own structure and function. These layers are, from the outermost to the innermost. Epicardium, visceral pericardium. The epicardium is the outermost layer of the heart and is also known as the visceral pericardium. It is a thin, smooth, and protective layer. Composition. The epicardium is composed of connective tissue and is covered by a layer of mesothelial cells. Function. It provides a protective covering for the heart and secretes a lubricating fluid that reduces friction between the outer surface of the heart and the pericardial sac, the fibrous sac that surrounds the heart. This lubrication allows the heart to beat smoothly within the pericardial cavity. Myocardium. The myocardium is the middle and thickest layer of the heart, responsible for the heart's muscular contraction. Composition. It consists mainly of cardiac muscle tissue, which is richly supplied with blood vessels and nerve fibers. Function. The myocardium contracts rhythmically to pump blood throughout the circulatory system. The thickness of the myocardium varies in different parts of the heart, with the left ventricle having the thickest myocardial wall due to its role in pumping oxygenated blood to the entire body. Endocardium. The endocardium is the innermost layer of the heart and lines the chambers, valves, and blood vessels that enter and exit the heart. Composition. It is composed of a thin layer of endothelial cells, which are specialized cells that create a smooth, non-stick surface for blood flow. Function: the endocardium helps maintain the integrity of the heart's chambers and valves. It also plays a role in preventing blood clot formation within the heart and facilitates the smooth flow of blood through the heart chambers and into the major blood vessels. These three layers work together to ensure the proper functioning of the heart. The myocardium's contractions generate the force necessary to pump blood, while the epicardium and endocardium provide protection, support, and a smooth surface for blood flow. The coordinated action of these layers is essential for maintaining the heart's function as a pump in the circulatory system. Any disruption or damage to these layers can lead to heart-related conditions and diseases. 4. Blood vessels. Anatomy: blood vessels are categorized into three types: arteries, veins, and capillaries. Arteries carry oxygenated blood away from the heart, with the exception of the pulmonary artery, which carries deoxygenated blood to the lungs. Veins return deoxygenated blood to the heart, except for the pulmonary veins, which bring oxygenated blood from the lungs. Capillaries, microscopic vessels that connect arteries and veins, facilitating the exchange of nutrients, oxygen, and waste products between blood and body tissues. Physiology: arteries have thick, elastic walls that help maintain blood pressure and ensure a steady flow of blood. Veins have thinner walls and contain valves to prevent backflow. Capillaries enable the exchange of substances between blood and cells through their thin walls. 5. Blood. Anatomy: blood is composed of plasma, red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. Plasma, the liquid component of blood that carries nutrients, hormones, and waste products. Red blood cells, RBCs, contain hemoglobin, a protein that binds and transports oxygen. White blood cells, WBCs, play a role in the immune system, defending against infections. Platelets, cell fragments that aid in blood clotting. Physiology: blood carries oxygen from the lungs to body tissues and returns carbon dioxide to the lungs for elimination. It also transports nutrients, hormones, and immune cells while contributing to the clotting process to prevent excessive bleeding. 6. Circulation. Anatomy and physiology: the cardiovascular system has two main circulations. Systemic circulation: the left side of the heart pumps oxygenated blood into the aorta, which branches into smaller arteries that deliver blood to all body tissues. Deoxygenated blood returns to the right atrium through the superior and inferior vena cava. Pulmonary circulation: the right side of the heart pumps deoxygenated blood into the pulmonary artery, which carries it to the lungs for oxygenation. Oxygen-rich blood returns to the left atrium through the pulmonary veins. 7. Heart blood flow. The normal blood circulation of the heart is a highly coordinated process that ensures the continuous flow of blood throughout the body, delivering oxygen and nutrients to tissues while removing waste products. The circulation involves two main circuits: systemic circulation and pulmonary circulation. Here's a step-by-step explanation of the normal blood circulation of the heart. Deoxygenated blood enters the heart. Deoxygenated blood, containing carbon dioxide, returns to the heart from the body's tissues through two large veins, the superior vena cava from the upper body, and the inferior vena cava from the lower body. Right atrium. The deoxygenated blood from the vena cava enters the right atrium of the heart. The right atrium contracts, pushing the blood through the tricuspid valve into the right ventricle. Right ventricle. When the right ventricle contracts, it forces the deoxygenated blood through the pulmonary valve into the pulmonary artery. Pulmonary circulation. The pulmonary artery carries this deoxygenated blood to the lungs. In the lungs, the blood travels through tiny capillaries in the pulmonary alveoli, where it releases carbon dioxide and picks up oxygen. This process is known as pulmonary gas exchange. Oxygenated blood returns to the heart via the pulmonary veins. Left atrium. Oxygen-rich blood enters the left atrium of the heart from the pulmonary veins. Left ventricle. The left atrium contracts, pushing the oxygenated blood through the mitral valve into the left ventricle. Systemic circulation. When the left ventricle contracts, it ejects the oxygen-rich blood into the aorta, the body's largest artery. The aorta branches into smaller arteries, which further divide into arterioles and eventually capillaries that reach all parts of the body. In the capillaries, oxygen and nutrients are released from the blood and taken up by the body's cells, while carbon dioxide and waste products are absorbed into the bloodstream. Venous return. Deoxygenated blood, now carrying waste products, returns to the heart through venules and progressively larger veins. The superior and inferior vena cava receive this deoxygenated blood and return it to the right atrium, completing the cycle. This entire process repeats with each heartbeat, creating a continuous and efficient circulation of blood throughout the body. The heart's 4 valves, tricuspid, pulmonary, mitral, and aortic, ensure that blood flows in one direction, preventing backflow and maintaining the integrity of the circulation. The circulatory system also plays a role in regulating blood pressure, temperature, and the immune response. It is essential for maintaining homeostasis and supporting the metabolic needs of the body's cells and tissues.